lawsuits, the CFPB was created to be a cop on the beat to aggressively enforce laws that protect consumers, especially those who get regularly cheated. So, Director Kraninger, during your confirmation hearing, you testified, quote, "Under my stewardship, the Bureau will take aggressive action against bad actors who break the rules." Is that still your plan?
Yes, Senator, it is.
Good. You also said before you became director that the interim director, Mick Mulvaney, never made a decision you disagreed with. So let's put that together and see how you and Director Mulvaney have been doing in your combined year and a half running the CFPB. Let's start with student loans. The law that set up the CFPB established a student loan ombudsman at the Bureau because Congress believed that students needed a regulator who had their back when loan companies and for-profit colleges tried to cheat them. Director Kraninger, in the past year and a half, how many lawsuits has the CFPB filed against student loan companies?
I don't know the specific answer to that question.
Well, I can tell you because it's a matter of public record.
Yes, we do have active litigation.
How many have you filed?
There are 2 active cases in this area.
Gee, what the public record seems to show is 0. Right. Not one single action against lenders and servicers who scam students. Not $1 returned to students who get cheated. In contrast, when he led the CFPB, Rich Cordry filed 15 cases, and he recovered $712 million for those students who had been cheated. In fact, you have done worse than nothing. You and Mulvaney disbanded the Office of Student Ombudsman. It was so bad that your student loan ombudsman resigned because the, quote, leadership of the Bureau has abandoned its duty to fairly and robustly enforce the law. So that's student loans. Now let's ask about discrimination. Before the financial crisis, banks targeted communities of color for the worst of the worst cheating mortgages. So after the crash, Congress said there would be a special office at the CFPB to enforce laws to stop lending discrimination. Director Kraninger, in the last year and a half, how many lawsuits has the CFPB and the DOJ filed for fair lending violations?
I can tell you, Senator, that we do have ongoing investigations.
How many
in this
have
area.
you filed?
I've been on the job for 3 months as of today.
That's right,
there are
and
active
you
cases.
have Mick Mulvaney together. You've said you agree with everything he's done. That's a year and a half period. How many have been filed in a year and a half? It's a matter of public record.
I understand that.
And
I do
the
not believe there are any that have been
is
filed, but there is
0.
active investigation happening.
The answer is 0 that you have filed. Not one single action against lenders who discriminate, not $1 returned to borrowers who got turned down or charged more because of the color of their skin. Rich Cordry filed 11 lending discrimination cases, recovered almost $620 million for consumers who were targets of discrimination. And again, in this area, you have done worse than nothing. You took enforcement powers away from the CFPB experts who were in charge of the Office of Fair Lending. And who did you put in charge of the office? A political appointee with a history of writing racist blogs. Okay, student loans, lending discrimination. Now let's do credit reporting companies and debt collectors. 2/3 of the complaints that come through the CFPB hotline are about credit reporting or debt collection. Under Rich Cordry, the CFPB brought 20 debt collection cases and 24 credit reporting cases, putting almost $1.2 billion back into the pockets of consumers who were cheated. Director Kraninger, in the last year and a half, the CFPB has filed 3 cases alleging violations of credit reporting or debt collection laws. How much relief did the Bureau win for consumers in those cases?
With respect to restitution and injunctive relief and remedies, there are a number.
Back to the consumers.
Senator, I'm assuming that you have it in front of you.
I do have it in front of me because it is a matter of public record. I'm a little surprised you don't know the answer, because the answer is the same in all 3 of the questions I've asked you. It's 0. You have put $0 back in the pockets of consumers who were cheated. So, student loans, lending discrimination, credit reporting companies, debt collectors, much more we could talk about, but I see I'm out of time. It seems pretty clear to me that you stopped enforcing the laws designed to protect consumers. Money returned to consumers as a result of the CFPB's lawsuits has slowed to a trickle. And when you do bring a case, the settlements you've secured from the companies average about 1/125th the size of the ones that Rich Cordry got. That's hundreds of millions of dollars that companies stole from consumers and that you are permitting them to keep. Director Kraninger, you are supposed to be the cop on the beat, but you are only watching out for the crooks who are cheating American consumers. If you had any decency, you'd either do your job or resign. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And before we move to Senator Menendez, Senator Brown asked for a few.
Yeah, thank you. On one of my questions, I misspoke. The press stories about Mr. Blankenstein